All right, please pardon the that little background noise. I'm standing close to an air conditioner. Anyway, this is the forge. I could have moved it a little over into the light, but you can see our void that's going to get filled with the refractory. I don't know if I pointed this out, but on the end of the forge here, I've welded on an 1.5 inch bar that kind of holds the insulation and the fiberboard in place so it can't move forward or backward. And once I get everything poured, I'll get this poured, and then I will do the same thing up here, because I want the refractory flush with the face of the board, not with that little 1.5 inch plate. And this thing's sticking out because I'm going to grab it and then slide it out once the castable starts to set up. You can see right now that I hope you can see that my burner tube, which is in place, is going to create the channel in the refractory. So I slide my tube in, and the burner is going to be going through a channel that the refractory goes into. So that's going to get that burner tube and this stovepipe are going to get painted with graphite spray. I'll stand it into place, then I'll stand it up vertically. This insulation in the tube is going to keep castable refractory from going into the tube. This is going to get taped in place. The whole thing gets stood on its end with that other end up, poured full of refractory, and once it sets up, then I slide out the stovepipe, and my burner tube will have a chase in the castable refractory to slide in and out, and then that's where the tube will go into this chamber. That'll be what we call our chamber. So that's where we're at. Just need to get those few things done, and this thing will be ready to pour. Okay, it's ready to pour. I haven't mixed up anything yet, but you can kind of get the idea. What it's like. Here's my burner is in place. I've got the far end covered. I wonder if I can push this over. You can see I've got the end covered, flush with a sheet of Luan, square of 1/4 inch plywood, and I'll just be able to pour this thing, let that stuff set up for an hour or so, and then I should just be able to grab this stovepipe, and it's heavily spray painted with graphite. The refractory should not stick to it at all, and after it sets up for about an hour, I should just be able to pull that out of there. And the same thing with my blower tube is shaped. You probably can't see it down in there, but it's shaped to fit the radius of this stovepipe. When I pull this out, there'll be a channel, a chase for the blower to slide into every time. So anyway, that's where she stands right now, and about to be poured. More later. Well, here's a little goofy update on the forge pour. You can see I got my refractory poured in the void. Well, having not done this before, or knowing how the Mizu castable mixed up, I thought 20 pounds would do it. It's been about a week since I've been on this. I forget what I said on the last video, but 20 pounds of Mizu only filled this thing halfway full. So I had to order 20 more pounds, and quite honestly, I didn't get halfway full. So once I ordered 20 pounds, I realized I needed more, so I ordered another 10 pounds. So right now, I literally bought 50 pounds of Mizu, which can be purchased in a 55-pound bag. So I should have just done it that way. Anyway, it's all poured, and now I'm waiting for things to set up, and when it does, I'll knock that center 6-inch stovepipe out of there, and I'll have a chamber, and this thing's butted up against it, so there will be a chase for the burner tube, and another day or so and I'll have this thing running. Okay, have a good one. Well, this project took me about 10 minutes. So next morning after pouring this thing, if I can bring this down in here, there's what's going on. But here is my liner. Here's that stovepipe that I used to create the chamber. And basically what I did, sorry I didn't get much of a picture, but you understand how a stovepipe snaps together. I took a chisel, started splitting it apart, and then literally beating it in from the side and kind of folding it in on itself, so it would actually make it smaller. Once I got it kind of started, I literally just started beating it from one end, and I just used a piece of angle iron over here and a hammer and just drove it from one end out the other end, which is where these flat bars sitting here helped, because they're sitting on top of that 1-inch hardboard, and that just kept from driving the whole kit and caboodle right out the other end. So this held it in place, and then I literally just drove the hammer out one blow at a time, and once it got started, it just kind of popped right out. It didn't take long at all. Here you go. You can kind of see how I folded it in on itself, which reduced its friction against the inside wall, and I just drove it out with a hammer. So now if I could pick this sumbitch up and get it up on my my welding sawhorse here, I-beam sawhorse, I'm ready to light this thing, but I can't. I need to get somebody to help me pick it up. I bet it weighs 175 pounds. I don't know. Anyway, more later once I get her going. Cyclone. I'll tell you what, I lit that thing up, and it was like lighting a rocket. Wow. Wow. Holy shit. Okay. This project is now a completed project. I finally got this thing up and running, and it's a sweetheart. I'm just using a small tank over there. Normally I'll be running off this 100-gallon tank, 120-gallon tank, I guess. But anyway, this will give you an idea of how the bricks slide in. I only have one in front of each end right now. I've got some in a package to open up, but I can close it off, put 2 bricks on each end. See my angle iron blower, the exact same blower that I use on 2 of my vertical forges. Pedestal, just put it on wheels. Anyway, I'm thrilled. At the moment, I'm very thrilled. If you got any questions, let me know. There, according to my pressure gauge, is just running about 1.5 psi, and it's like a rocket. All right, that's it.